We are getting more details about that Amazon Prime cargo plane that overshot the runway this morning at Vancouver's International Airport. Airport officials spoke with reporters last hour about the incident. Sarah Galashan was listening in, and she joins me now from our Vancouver newsroom. Sarah, what can you tell us?
Well, so Stephanie, what we've heard is there is some good news. And that's despite the fact that YVR, the Vancouver International Airport, is now down to a single main runway. Just the south runway is operating. But despite that fact, there has been very little effect on the flights that have been arriving and departing to and from the airport. They say that approximately 5% of the more than 600 planes coming in and leaving from YVR have actually experienced delays. And they don't anticipate there's going to be anything significant coming beyond that in the hours to come. They are down to one runway, of course, because the north runway is closed right now, sitting on the wet grass just east of that north runway is a very large Boeing 767 cargo jet plane operated by Amazon Prime. As you say, it ran right off it had such speed, it ran right off of that runway. It is in the grass, nose down. It was inbound from Hamilton, Ontario. At 1:45 in the morning, that's when it came to this position. Pilots radioed the control tower, indicating in their transmission that there had been some kind of problem with the flaps. Once that plane came to the stop, fire and ambulance make their way, arrived to the scene. There were 3 crew members on board that plane. They were all able to deplane, and no one was injured in this. TSB is on site today and have been now for hours. They are currently in control of the scene as they try to determine exactly what went wrong here and why this happened to this plane. It is, as I say, though, right now in the position of nose down in the grass, and TSB right now currently in control. Stephanie?
And what's the plan here, Sarah? How do they move a plane this big?
That came up at the press conference, and the response was that this is a very big and very heavy plane. It's a Boeing 767 cargo jet. It's also full of cargo. This is an Amazon Prime plane, so it is full of all of those Amazon packages. And before you can even think about moving the plane, you have to try and make it as light as possible. And so all of that cargo, all of those packages and items, and some of them quite large potentially, they all have to be removed. And so that is going to start as soon as the TSB relinquishes the site, hands over control. Right now they are not, but they're in position at YVR to try and start to take all of the cargo off. They've also brought in machinery to that end to help with that, and they've brought in large planks of wood that they were describing as possibly having to use or to make some kind of a makeshift road, because the ground is very wet. This is Vancouver, this is November, and so you have a very wet ground. The plane is itself sort of lodged a little bit into the ground, and they don't want the machinery that they're going to be using to as well become stuck. So it's going to be a little bit complicated, Stephanie. To this point, they have said expect about 48 hours until they can have this runway reopened, but they are now using a few days. So there's no real timeline. It's going to depend on exactly what they need to do here. And as you were just hearing from Darius and talking to that guest over in the Nicollet, we are expecting some significant weather in the lower mainland area in British Columbia. They don't think there's going to be any safety issue to that because they're very confident in the one runway that they have. But that said, certainly that kind of weather event that could do something to how easily it is to remove a 767 from this wet area, the grassy area off of this tarmac.
Okay, Sarah Galashan in Vancouver. Thank you so much, Sarah.
You bet.